Sinister Ones, and welcome to Twisted Classics with Phantom 876. In this episode of Twisted Classics, we will be reading a summarization of Jeff the Killer. Without further ado, let's begin. Jeff and his brother, Lou, had moved into a new home in a fancy neighborhood after their father had gotten a promotion at his job. Although they wouldn't complain. As they were unpacking, their neighbor Barbara showed up to invite them to her son Billy's birthday party. Before Jeff and Lou could decline the offer, their mother accepted. Annoyed, Jeff looked at his mother and asked, "Why? We just moved into this neighborhood." His mother looked at him and said, "Well, I want our neighbors to think that we at least want to spend time with them." Jeff, annoyed with this answer, knew that what his mother says is final. So, he went to his room and plopped on his bed. Suddenly, Jeff got this odd feeling. Not a physical nor a painful feeling, but some weird feeling he's never had before. Jeff shrugged it off and went to bed. The next day, after getting ready for school and being called down to eat breakfast, Jeff got that feeling once again. But this time it was a little stronger and caused some small amount of unknown pain. But once again, he ignored it, and he and his brother Lou went to the bus stop. While waiting for the bus, some boy on a skateboard rode past and jumped over their laps, irritating the two. The boy stopped and looked at him, saying, "Well, well, well. Looks like we have new meat." Two more boys showed up as well. The first one chuckled and pointed at some skinny, dopey-looking boy, introducing him as Keith. And then he pointed at some tub of lard and said, "That one is Troy." "And I," the boy said, "am Randy." And you see, every kid in this neighborhood knows that there's a bus fare, if you catch my drift. Feeling threatened, Lou got up to get ready to punch Randy in the face, but before he could, Troy and Keith pulled out knives. And Randy took Lou's wallet. This made that feeling that Jeff felt the day before and at breakfast become a burning sensation. Jeff got up and got into Randy's face, ignoring his brother's gesture to sit back down. "Give me my brother's wallet back, or else," Jeff said, seriously. Laughing, Randy put the wallet away and pulled out his knife. Or what? As soon as Randy finished, Jeff punched him in the nose. Randy, obviously irritated, reached for his face, but Jeff grabbed his wrist and broke it. Randy now screaming, Jeff grabbed the knife from Randy. Afterwards, he threw Randy to the ground. Keith ran at Jeff, but Jeff ducked and stabbing him in his arm, causing Keith to scream and fall. Now Troy rushing at Jeff, not even needing the knife now, Jeff punched him in the stomach, causing Troy to fall and start puking all over the place. Lou was in shock. "Jeff, how did you..." But Jeff saw the bus coming, so they ran. They ran as fast as they could to get to school. Jeff knew this was more than a fight of self-defense. This was enjoyment. He was happy of what he did to those three. He was happy he caused that pain. When they got to school, Lou and Jeff kept quiet. The next day, the police showed up. Their mother angry, asking, "Why the hell did this happen? Why would Jeff do such a thing to three people?" The police said that witnesses say they saw Jeff assaulting the three boys and flee the scene. Jeff knew he couldn't defend himself or Lou because, well, there was no proof that there was any assault on them, and that it was self-defense. Jeff was going to accept his punishment, but Lou shouted, "Wait." Lou came downstairs holding a knife. The cops pulled their guns at Lou. "I did it," Lou said, showing his bruises and cuts. Just drop the knife, the cop said. Dropping his knife and putting his hands behind his back, the cops arrested Lou. Jeff tried to tell them that he did it and that Lou was innocent, but Lou brushed it off. All Jeff could feel in this moment was sadness and disappointment in his parents. Without a word, he went to his room, going to bed. The next day, Jeff was woken up by his mother with a smile. "Today's the day, sweetie," she said. "Billy's birthday party." Jeff, only wearing a hoodie and jeans, left for the birthday party. Once they got there, Jeff went to the yard, full of kids dressed up as cowboys playing. A kid walked up to Jeff saying, "Hey, wanna play?" "No," Jeff said, "I'm way too old for that." "Please?" the kid said. "Fine," Jeff said. He put on one of the cowboy hats and pretended to shoot at the kids. At first he thought it was stupid and ridiculous, then he began to have fun because it got his mind off of Lou. Suddenly, Roy, Troy, and Keith hopped the fence. Randy looked at Jeff with a burning rage. "Hello, Jeff. We have some unfinished business." After being stabbed in the shoulder, kicked and beaten, and hit over the head with a vodka bottle, Jeff finally snapped. All of his psyche was gone. All he knew what to do was kill. So Jeff got Randy on the ground and got on top of him, and he started to punch him in the heart. So much that Randy's heart stopped beating. Gasping for air as blood rushed out of Randy's body, he finally stopped breathing. Noticing that Troy and Keith had their guns aimed at him, he ran upstairs. Jeff ducked into the bathroom, hearing the two going upstairs following. So Jeff took the towel rack off of the wall. Getting their knives ready, Troy and Keith went into the bathroom. Troy went to stab at Jeff, but Jeff ducked and hit him in the head with the towel rack, making him fall and crack his head onto the floor, just leaving Keith. Keith, being faster than Troy, ducked the towel rack and pinned Jeff against the wall, causing a bottle of bleach to fall onto the two. Both of them started screaming. As Jeff wiped his eyes, he hit Keith in the head with the towel rack. But as Keith was on the ground bleeding, he started laughing. "What's so funny?" Jeff asked. He smirked and said, "You're covered in bleach and alcohol." As soon as he said that, he lit and threw a lighter at Jeff. Jeff ignited in flames and started screaming as the alcohol helped made the flames bigger and the bleach started bleaching his skin. Jeff became a human fireball. He ran downstairs and fell. The last thing he saw before passing out was the adult and his mother trying to put out the fire while the children were crying. Next day, Jeff woke up in the hospital. He's all casted up. He could feel the stitches, he could feel the cast, but he couldn't get up. After hours, he heard his mother ask, "Honey, are you okay?" Jeff couldn't answer because his mouth was all casted up. "Oh, and I have some great news. After witnesses said Randy confessed, they let Lou go." This made Jeff happy. He tried to bolt up, but then realized he couldn't fully move. His mother hugged him to say her goodbyes. After a couple of weeks, the day to get his bandages removed came. As they were removing the bandages, the family got even more tense before they got to the face bandages. The doctor looked at him and said, "Let's hope for the best." Removing the face bandages, his mother screamed, while Lou and his father looked shocked. "What happened?" Jeff said, as he got up and rushed to the bathroom to look at his face. His face was pure white. His hair was pitch black, and his lips were a deep, deep shade of red. "Jeff, it's not that bad," Lou said. "It's perfect," Jeff said while laughing uncontrollably. The family looked concerned. The mother went over to the doctor and whispered, "Doctor, is my son okay? In the head?" the mother asked. "He should be fine. Most patients act like this after having a high dose of painkillers," the doctor said. "If he keeps acting like this after a few weeks, please bring him back." Just feeling relieved, the family took Jeff back for the night. That night, Jeff's mother woke up to a sound coming from the bathroom. It sounded like crying. As she opened the door, she saw a horrid sight. Jeff carved a smile into his cheeks. "Jeff, what are you doing?" the mother said. Jeff looked over. "Now I can smile forever, Mommy," he said. And I burnt my eyelids so I could see my face forever." Aren't I beautiful? He said. Yes, son. Yes, you are, his mother said. Let me get your father so he can see your face. She went back to her bedroom, going over to her husband. Honey, get the gun, She stopped as she saw Jeff in the hallway with a knife. Mommy, you lied. That was the last thing they heard before he rushed at them and killed them. Lou woke up to the sounds, but he was unsure of what the sounds were. Maybe it was his anxiety from jail messing with him. He didn't hear anything else, so he tried to go back to sleep. But he had this sense that someone was watching him. As soon as he looked up, Jeff covered his mouth and raised his hand to stab him. Lou tried to struggle and get out of his brother's grip, but all he heard was Jeff whisper in his ear. Shh, Jeff said. Just go to sleep.